Okay, I got a voltmeter that I trust now. So I'm gonna run through a couple tests, try to stitch these together, see if somebody can help me figure out why I'm still failing to be able to get this car to start. This is hard to do one-handed. Alright, so I'm getting 3.6 is what I kept reading. 3.8. 3.6, I was getting that consistently. Across the terminals, and then if I switch it high tension to low tension, 691 is what I kept getting. So slightly out of spec, but I'm getting spark, so I think I'm okay. I'm getting power across the leads. When the point's open, I lose power. I've got the static timing set at about 12 degrees before top dead center. And so I can check that I'm getting on the high tension side here. Let's see if I can't do this or find someplace to sit this down. Alright, let me see if that doesn't knock the phone down. Ignition. I checked each spark plug. I pulled each plug, and each plug I'm getting a spark here. I also put a spark tester between the boot and the plug, and it lights on each one. So I think my ignition side is fine. So I'm going to show you the carb side. Now mind you, I've done, that's new. Everything on the side's new, essentially. The coil, the distributor's been rebuilt. All the spark plugs are new. The wires are new. The cap is new. Everything from here over has been taken off and serviced. New bush is completely clean, completely rebuilt. Nothing's really been done on the motor except for replacing the tappet cover. So I haven't done anything mechanical. I haven't even adjusted the valves on it. And the motor was running prior to all of this. So I still can't get it to run. Something I noticed here, I've had this on and off. If you look down here, if it'll focus, there's my bearing on the back one. It's set about the same height as the bearing on the front one, roughly 1.5 turns down from full close position. But something I notice, and I've checked this a couple times, the float bowl setting using the SU tool, this thing, which is on the oblong side 7/16 of an inch. I've set it for both of them so they match. And I've taken it out and rechecked it because what I noticed was there's some fuel, it's evaporated, but you can see a little bit of fuel sitting right at the top of the bearing there. But you cannot on this side. And if I pull the choke, you see that? The fuel's pooling there. I don't get the same action here. There's not a lot of light in there. And it's hard, I need another hand to do this. But when it gets all the way down at the bottom, get out of here. Let me see if I can't get some light in here. Make this a little bit more visible. All right, when it gets all the way down at the bottom, I can see fuel bubbling 1/2 inch down there. But not at the same level as this. So I'm wondering if that's my issue. And so I know gravity essentially is setting this. So the fuel height is set in the bowl on each one based on the float bowl arm shut off. And gravity levels that across to the bearing and the bridge. And so they're different heights here. And the only explanation I can see is that when I put a level from here to here, the back sits about 1/8 of an inch lower than the front. Now the car's in the garage, it's on level ground, there's no jacks. So that just has to do with the tilt of how the engine is. But I can't see how critical that is, because what happens when you go up a hill or down a hill? You're going to have the same issue. But that's an oddity that I saw here, and I expected the fuel level to be the same in both. But they are getting fuel. I mean, there's fuel right there on my finger. There's obviously fuel here. You saw that coming up. That's on my finger. The other odd thing I saw is these were perfectly clean when they went in. And I'm seeing sooting coming out of this port and this port on both of them. More so on the back carb than the front carb. And I don't think that's normal. So I'll do another video here in a minute, and I'll try to start it. The thing's running totally rough. It actually will run here. I didn't get my drive gear on my distributor reversed because I couldn't get the bracket on the engine, so I just rewired. But it started, and then it runs rough. And it doesn't matter whether I adjust the richness all the way down or all the way up, it runs the same. There's no difference if I give it, you know, open accelerator. It just runs rough and kind of flutters around and eventually dies. And I can't keep it running more than about 30 seconds to a minute. I give it choke, it kind of wants to stall and then run and stall. So I think I have a carb side problem, but I don't know what to adjust now. I've tried adjusting the idles, makes no difference. I've adjusted the mixture nuts. I've rechecked the float bowls. I've pulled the hose. I'm getting proper fuel delivery. Both bowls are filled. I'm seeing gas in the ports. I've got these off right now. I've tried this with oil in the damper, without oil in the damper. I've adjusted the oil from 90 weight to 2050 down to 20 weight oil. Verified that the needles are, I'm getting a thunk and they're centered. So I'm kind of out of ideas on why I cannot get this thing to run or stay running now. So let me do another video here with starting it and see if I can't actually get it to start, so you can see it running. The other thing I noticed is it's not doing it as much now, but initially I was getting, it was coughing out of here. More so in the back than the front, but I was getting occasional coughs. Sometimes it would sputter, cough, and then I'd get white smoke that would puff out of there. And I am still getting a few random backfires out of the tailpipe. So obviously I'm off. I've even tried thinking maybe that's a timing issue. So while it's running, I get my brother to start it, and then I'll rotate the distributor back and forward, trying to see if I can get a better running position. And the position I initially started in seems to be the best position. If I advance it or retard it, it gets worse either way. So let me put the carb jets back on and do another video here.